All right, let's talk Champions League, Concacaf. As you can see, I'm still in my uniform and I'm a little upset. I expected MLS teams to do better. I mean, the champions of MLS, which was Columbus, maybe they had a more difficult time. They had a bigger challenge to overcome because they were down 2 goals, 2 away goals. But Portland had only 1 away goal, which was definitely doable. I think if they came back. I mean, Toronto, they were done. I mean, they pardon my language. I'm just a little upset, but they fucked up the first leg. There's just no. I mean, you needed a miracle to come back from that. You know. So I wasn't hoping. I mean, I was hoping for a miracle, but I knew it wasn't gonna happen, and it didn't, as expected. But I had some faith with Columbus, and I had some faith with Portland that they were maybe gonna be able to pull it off. I mean, they weren't down. I mean, they were down by away goals, which is a big deal, but it's still doable. Like if you just put your effort into it, you can definitely pull it off. But what happened? They went to Mexico. Sure, Cinco de Mayo when they played, fine, whatever. Maybe the Mexicans are a little bit more excited because it's a Mexican. To be honest, it's not even a Mexican holiday; it's more of an American holiday. But nonetheless, it's a Mexico theme holiday, whatever. So maybe they're more motivated or whatever it might be. But nonetheless, I mean, they were only down by away goals. This means that if they just kind of got their shit together and actually tried and maybe scored a few goals, like you could have seen them maybe pull through. I mean, I wasn't even asking for I mean, Portland was in Azteca. That's difficult. That stadium is very difficult to play in. But nonetheless, I mean, you don't have, you gotta leave all that behind. You can't get mind fucked by the fact that you're playing in Azteca, which is difficult. It's easier said than done, yes, but it's doable. It's definitely doable. I think we need to just kind of shake all that off and just try our best. I mean, again, Columbus was down 2 away goals, which just makes it a little more difficult. But nonetheless, they could have fucking pulled it off. Just score 1 goal and don't get scored on, and you would have been fine. You know. And then we hear on Twitter and all this other social medias how, the refereeing is shitty and we got screwed again by the refs. No, we shouldn't be relying on the refs. The refs should be a non-factor. We should be that much more better than the other team to the point that we don't have to rely on the ref being good or not being good. Like, we need to be good because we're good and we can defeat these Mexican teams. They're Mexican teams, yes. They don't have the salary cap like we do and all that stuff. But nonetheless, we are a league that's growing. I think that we're a league that definitely has potential, and we have seen a lot of improvement in the recent past, to the point that we don't need to rely on the refs being good or not. Like, we should be dominant. We should be able to defeat these Mexican teams. Like, the fact that, I mean, the Mexican media keeps saying how, we're ages away. We're not. MLS is close to being just as good as Liga MX. Sure, they might have a little bit more maybe talent because they could afford more, but we have some great teams. We have some great players here. I think we just need to shake off that mentality that somehow just because they're Mexican teams, they are better than us, because they're not. I mean, we saw LAFC. Nobody including myself, to be honest, thought that they could make it all the way to the final, knowing that they had to defeat, what is it, 3 or 4 Mexican opponents before reaching the final. I mean, I thought that was impossible. But you see, that's a mentality that we have that we need to get rid of. That we don't need to be thinking, just because they're Mexican teams, there's no chance. That's bullshit. We have a chance, and we are going to get to the point that we don't have to think just because they're a Mexican team, there's no chance to win. Rather you're Portland, rather you're LAFC, rather you're Toronto, rather you're Atlanta. We are going to get to the point where our league is going to be, in par with not only just Liga MX, but leagues around the world. But that mentality still sticks to us, to the point that just because they're a Mexican team and people say that they're better than we are, somehow we're always underdogs. That's not true. Again, look at LAFC. They made it all to the final, defeating like 3 or 4 big Mexican teams. I mean, I'm talking about like badass Mexican teams, like some of the top Mexican teams. Because LAFC said, we're not going to go under that notion that's just because they're Mexican teams, we can't defeat them. But LAFC, again, were really doing really well, that year. So, I mean, maybe it might have been that or whatever. But nonetheless, it's possible. It just shows you that it's possible you can make it all to the final. And sure, they lost in the final, but at least they made it all the way there, and they proved everybody wrong that thought that they could never make it to the final. So I am definitely disappointed of our MLS teams, and I know we still have Philadelphia Union in the game. But again, unless Philly says, screw it, we're gonna go all in and we're gonna fucking pull it off because we are a great team, they can't just go into the game saying, oh, well, we're playing a Mexican team, so we're the underdogs. No, there's no being underdogs. You are Philadelphia Union. You're doing great right now, and stick to that narrative, and you're gonna kick ass. And you hopefully could prove everybody wrong and make it to the final, and maybe even, God knows, you might even become the first MLS team to win the Concacaf Champions League in its current format. All right, but we need to have more motivation. We have to have more confidence in our league and our teams, because this whole showing right now during this Concacaf final stages was just embarrassing. And I'm disappointed as an MLS fan. But you know what? We have potential, and I know there's hope in the future. We just need to shake that mentality off that just because we're playing a Mexican team, we cannot pull it off. All right, guys? Again, this is the Chosen Juan with another video. This was my rant.